Yeah.
I think we also had like 260 RSVPs on this one, so that might be the most we've ever had.
All right, nice.
Trump.
Well, nice to see everybody.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hey, they're all lining up to yell at Gribbly.
Yes, as usual. Everyone be nice to Gribbly. That's an important rule, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's fine. Everyone can be mean to me. I can take it.
I'll be keeping an eye on the chat to try to write down any questions any of you may have, just in case you don't get a chance to answer it during this AMA. There's a chance that one of the developers can answer your question later and we can get back to you. So ask your questions in the chat.
I see Collector calling me stinky in the chat. Thank you, Collector. I appreciate it.
Very rude.
It's actually true. I didn't shower after my workout this morning, so I am quite stinky.
Rude but accurate.
Yeah.
Just a quick note on how we're gonna proceed through this AMA. It's the same as the previous ones for people that have been to these, but we gather the top questions from the creator forum post. I think we have 16 that I pulled. Any that had 3 or more upvotes I pulled in to a doc for us to answer. So all you had to do was find 2 other people to upvote it. That was our kind of cutoff for this one. So we're going to go through those first, and then towards the second half, hopefully we can cover those in like 30 minutes. And the second half of the AMA, we'll open it up to kind of like questions from the chat or bringing people up on stage. So that's kind of what the flow of the show is going to be like. If there's any Rec Room devs in the audience that want to come up on stage, you can either let Eden or Trunks know somewhere, or there should just be a like join the stage button for you if you have the staff role. Let me just start recording this. We are going to record this, so if you don't want, your voice recorded, don't raise your hand to come up on stage later. Don't put stuff in chat you're going to be embarrassed to see on YouTube later, etc. Okay. I'm good to go. Anybody have any, before we get into the question level announcements they want to make or comments before I just start going through those?
No, I think we're good to go.
Okay. All right. Question number 1 that we pulled from the creator forums with the most upvotes, 26 upvotes, last I saw, was it's from Cat on RR, and the question is, where is the next Rec Room contest? And I believe Eden was going to speak to this one.
Hi everybody. I'm excited to share some updates about our upcoming build contest. First and foremost, I want to be very, very clear with y'all. This contest will be different, and moving forward, you can expect each contest to keep evolving. This time, we're bringing it back to basics, but that doesn't mean we're going backwards. Instead, we're refining and improving the experience so we can keep these contests running in the future, both better and stronger than before. Our goal is to launch the contest very soon. It's going to be slightly revised, leaner and more focused, and a bit tighter in scope. This shift will help us to make the contest more sustainable while keeping them exciting and creative. As we mentioned before, this contest will be in R2 as well. Don't worry, we will make sure to go over all the changes in details when we announce the contest. And and we know there's been some theories and speculations that we might announce it today. Not just yet. But in the meantime, I do have a sneak peek as to what has been in the works. I have a photo that I will be posting in the text channel in just a second. That is a quick look into a certain room we will be using to celebrate the winners of our future contest. So let me go ahead and put that in the chat.
Contest teaser.
Contest teaser?
Ooh. That does look cool. Is there a way we can pin that comment or something? We can.
I don't think we can either. So answer very soon. But I'm happy to answer what I can, but also let's try to keep things a little bit of a surprise, but very soon.
Okay. Yeah, if people have follow-up questions on contest stuff that you feel like Eden didn't just address, we can do that in the second half once we get through the rest of these. Okay, the second question I had was from Gradino, and it is, what is happening with the video partner program? I DM'd them and clarified, and I think what they were asking is like, when do video partner program applications open up again? I asked someone internally about this. They said applications will be opening soon. I believe this is on the order of days, like it'll be very soon. It will be announced in the Rec Room official Discord, and I will probably just copy that over into the announcements here. So just keep your eye on the Discord announcement channels, and you should see when video partner applications open up. There was one clarifying point that they had, or two. One was Instagram no longer counts for subscriber count, so it sounds like Instagram is being removed as like one of the subscriber platforms that would qualify you. And the other point is only video content creators qualify. I think we had language in there previously saying like, hey, you could just be, doing a 2D art thing on Instagram or whatever. So I think these points are just clarifying like, hey, if you're just doing, like photo posts on Instagram, that's not going to be allowed anymore. And like the emphasis is on video content, which I think almost every video partner was anyway, but I think they just wanted to clarify that for people. Okay, so that answers number 2. I guess what we did last time was if the person was here and wanted to follow up on their question, we can also pull them on stage. If Eden or Trunks, if you could be looking for those people as I call them out, Gradino was that one in case they're here. I don't know if they are. I will assume they aren't, and we can pull them up later if they raise their hand.
Yeah, it might be
Okay.
easy if they do something in chat or something so we could find them easier than this unorganized 153 player list.
Oh, I see. No, if you go to the like hand raised icon, that'll show you the people with their hands up. I know that's
There we go.
how people have so please don't raise your hand yet unless you're one of the people who asked these questions, and that'll allow us to bring that person up on stage sooner. All right, question number 3. This is a Gribbly question, is from Soonix, Soonix. When will vehicles come to rooms 2?
Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, this is asked by a appropriately named person because the answer is legitimately soon. We have a huge focus on getting rooms 2 to be in really, really great shape. And when we, talk to people about, hey, what is needed for you to work with rooms 2, vehicles is one of the top requests that we get. So we are literally working on it right now. I think I can't give you an exact ship date. There's a lot of moving pieces to it, but it's on the order of, weeks, not months. So yeah, actively working on it. We're expecting to, oh, hang on, can everyone still hear me? My screensaver just kicked in as well. We have them in playtests internally already. They're working. So yeah, coming soon, TM.
That's cool. We should do some like a teaser GIF or video that we can put in the Discord.
Yeah.
If you ever want to send me that, I'll put it in here.
Okay.
Cool. Soon for vehicles in R2. Next
Yeah,
question is
and
okay.
legitimately soon, not some of my more traditional indefinite soon.
Good to clarify. Question number 4 is from Hades RR, HADEZ RR, in case they're here and want to come up. Let's see. Okay, this is about the glass stuff. I don't have.
I think the request here is, you can change the materials on Makerpen shapes, and they're like, hey, what about making glass a material that you can configure a Makerpen shape to?
Yeah.
We've talked about this one in AMAs before, and my answer is pretty much the same, but I can put some additional detail on it. So we love this feature idea. There's nothing we don't like about it creatively. We think it'll be a powerful tool. But it kind of connects in my mind to the Rooms 2 versus Rooms 1 focus. Maybe some of you might have seen this, but we actually kind of released some discussion that we've been having internally. We did a post on the creator forum called the messy middle, where we're talking about like the phase we're going through of like, you know, the Rooms 2 project is a huge project we've been working on for a long time that is replacing large chunks of the internal Rec Room systems with way more efficient and scalable systems. And it's been a giant pain in the butt for us and for everyone else. But we really are getting close to a full release and getting it. So we're really prioritizing that development. We're like really just trying to push it over the line. So for something like making glass a configurable option in Makerpen shapes, I think the additional detail I would add that I wouldn't have said in the past is that when and if we do this, it would be a Rooms 2 only feature. We would not add it to Rooms 1. Like we are really prioritizing our Rooms 2 as the target for future improvements. That doesn't mean Rooms 1's going away. Doesn't mean we're stopping supporting it. Doesn't mean we won't fix bugs in it. But we're really pushing on having Rooms 2 be the target for future improvements, and this would be included.
Cool. Next one is from YT Chill Will VR. Can we scrap generative maker AI? What is this mess? What do you think, Gribbly?
Well, so I'm guessing YT Chill Will VR is asking about the blog post that we did where we showed a preview of the Maker AI feature development we've been doing. So Maker AI, just for people who haven't looked at it, is an enhancement to the Makerpen, basically. So it augments the Makerpen and adds generative AI powered features to it. We don't plan to scrap it. Is this Chilly Willy? Is that YT Chill Will VR? Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
this
hi,
is your
okay.
question, right?
So yeah.
Okay, cool.
To
Just making sure you're the
clarify
same
my
person.
question, okay.
The short
Was
answer is
image, was it
sorry,
image
keep
with
going.
it?
Oh, keep going.
Okay. I attached the image to it. I'm mainly talking about the AI art because I feel like a lot of artists that I've talked to about it are really like annoyed and putting a lot of hate about it. So I just wanted to ask about it because it's AI art.
Yeah, we know like people have reservations about AI art for sure. We are less concerned about that. Like, you know, we think it's a tool like many others. And we think we can deploy it in a way that is additive to the Makerpen. You know, really the goal of AI in Rec Room is just to make is to basically to lower the barrier of creation. Like we really, you know, I think a lot of people, if you've tried, you know, like the people in this AMA are creators and people who have like you know, really learned to use the tools. We have a lot of players who want to create and really bounce off the tools. They find them too complicated. They find them very hard to learn. AI has the potential to really lower the barrier of creation by being a very major assistance technology for like you know, doing types of creation that person wouldn't otherwise be able to do. So we really like it for that reason. So, but look, we know that there are concerns with generative AI. You know, I don't think that's going to stop us exploring it, but you know, we don't want to ignore those, and we you know, we will only use ethically trained models. Speaking of training, you know, one of the first questions we got from a bunch of people is like, hey, is the Maker AI getting trained on our work? And the answer is no. So Maker AI doesn't train on any of the Rec Room content. But yes, you know, we think it's really fascinating. We think it's really interesting. We don't know how far we push it. You know, we're definitely in a learning mode, but yeah, no, we have no plans to scrap it. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the question. Let's see. Number 6 was from Brigadere. And this was, are there any plans or considerations to make more community-focused events and programs? For example, past events such as RecCon or Arts Festival where players could showcase their work, host events, and help run the overall event. I believe, okay, Orko was going to speak to this one.
Yeah, happy to hop in. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yep.
And I saw Brigadere in the chat too, so if they have any follow-ups. But I'm okay. I'm okay, Orko. Chase, I'm the lead for the creator community team. So the answer is definitely. but we do have some work to do first. We're kind of in a place right now where we have programs all over the place. Some are active, some aren't. Some are like exceeding the goals we have for them, and some aren't. Right now, literally as of this week, I am literally deep in wrangling all of that with the hope that we can clean up some of this so that we can better spread out our time and resources. We don't have anything right now, but we will announce some changes in the coming weeks. My hope is that we can kind of clean up and cut back to give more room for bigger and more efficient community programs, and also give more energy to the really big ones like RecCon. I am curious to hear, part of your question was just like kind of putting them back in the hands of the community. I am really curious to hear more about folks' appetites for that sort of like handing it back to the community with small aid from us. I know we kind of do this in some ways, but I do believe that we can expand on this. And I also know there's some magic to having our direct involvement, but I also want to empower you all to run events that feel legit. You shouldn't have to always wait on us. So while I'm exploring this, if you have any thoughts or feedback or examples of what or how that could look like, I'm totally all ears and would love to hear more. You can definitely find me in the contest and events channel, where I would love to hear if you have any thoughts on that sort of thing. But yeah, that's kind of my general answer to it.
Okay, next one was from Dragon Rat Tiger. In the Maker AI video, objects and inventions are spawned and placed wherever you tell it to. Something comes to mind as I'm talking about this. What is your end goal for Maker AI? Will it be able to create whole designs from shapes? Will it be able to assemble a wall of circuits? How much of Maker AI will work on its own versus needing manual work from the creator utilizing it? So it seems like this is just an overall, like, what
Yeah,
can
kind of.
Maker AI do and what are our
Yeah,
plans for it?
curiosity about Maker AI. So I can tell you like the way we're thinking about it. And so one thing I would say is, we're still learning a lot. The field of AI is moving very quickly. And we are learning a lot. We are very excited by the possibilities. We think it already does cool stuff in its form, and we definitely see a lot of possibilities. The way we're thinking about it is that Maker AI is intended to be a creative companion. Like I said, it's basically an extension of the Makerpen. And ultimately, the way we have it working is that the AI can operate the Makerpen on your behalf to follow instructions that you give it, and everything it creates is rooms to objects and standard circuits, and everything kind of gets built in a kind of standard way so that you can then customize what it's created as much as you want. So there's no kind of just black box where you can't, edit into it and make changes you want. Because the way we think about it is basically like the Maker AI is at its most helpful for newer creators, where you can just kind of like, hey, get involved in creation with this much easier tool to use. But the best creation is often the most personalized and the most specific. And that's what Maker AI is less good at. But Maker AI is good at kind of like helping you with general concepts. But when you really want to achieve something specific, that's often where you want to get, use the kind of more manual tools to get a really specific outcome. So I think that's kind of the way we see it working. Is it sits on the Makerpen. One thing that's super interesting to think about is like, the way we have it working is that everyone's Makerpen has its own Maker AI. So you kind of have your own Maker AI with you. So when you're together in a room, you've each got your own AI kind of working on your Makerpen, and that kind of creates some interesting dynamics and possibilities. Let me go through the question in Dragon Rat's question. What is the end goal? Yeah, so the end goal is just it's really like we would like to see 100% of people in Rec Room able to create. That doesn't mean that 100% of people in Rec Room will create necessarily, or at least will create, and save and publish rooms. But we want everyone to have the opportunity to try it. And we think right now it's the barrier of entry is higher than we want it to be. Like we really want to see a large percentage of people who play Rec Room able to engage in creation. And I think, one interesting thing we think of is like, I think there's always going to be people who are mostly interested in publishing rooms. We think there's a lot of room for a more ephemeral type of creation where it's not really about making rooms that are intended to be published to compete with the top rooms that people have spent, huge amounts of time on, but it's more just creating for its own sake and not something that you intend to keep. It's more creation as play. I think Maker AI has a big role in that, of just like a very experimental, like, hey, what if kind of form of sandbox creation where the goal is not necessarily to keep it and publish it, It's just to have fun creating. So that's one thing. That's the vision. You've got an amazing creative companion. You could use it to the extent that you want or not. It's really up to you. Will it be able to create whole designs from shapes? We don't know. We think that's a really interesting possibility. I don't think it would create high quality Makerpen objects that would be as good as our really good Makerpen creators can make. It might be able to make interesting approximations of objects that would be fun for, sandbox creation scenarios where you just want to experiment and kind of make interesting things. That might work. Will it be able to assemble a wall of circuits? It can make circuits. So we haven't released anything about that yet, but the AI is capable of making circuits. So that's an interesting possibility. How much a Maker AI will work on its own versus needing manual work? So I think certainly for the foreseeable future, it's intended to be a very collaborative tool. So it creates very standard rec room creation objects that you can then customize. And then will the existence of Maker AI have an effect on existing creator programs such as Workshop and classes? I mean, maybe in some sense. I mean, not in the short term. I mean, maybe in some sense in that, the goal of the workshops and classes is to teach you about creation. And we really think of Maker AI as one more tool in the toolkit. It's not the only way to create. It's not intended to be the only way to create. It's intended to be an additional way to create. So I can imagine workshops and classes that include Maker AI as part of the, hey, here's how you can create in Rec Room.
Cool.
So I think that's about it.
Can you clarify? I noticed a lot of creators were confused by the second video in the Maker AI announcement post because it has like the bot, you tell it to like give it a health bar and
it's a little
follow
robot
you,
video.
and it looked like it was writing full like circuit stuff. I don't think that's what actually was happening in that video. Can you kind of
Oh, yes.
describe to people what was happening there?
Yes, yeah. So in that video, what it was doing, it was finding pre-made what we call behavior boards, where they were hand-coded circuit boards. But then it was then able to pick them out basically from the Invention store and put them in the object board of that object, and have them work together to create the behavior we wanted. So that was a very real demo in that object was getting created in real time, but it wasn't coding the circuits from scratch. That said, we think that it can do that. So I think there will be a video, there will be a version of that video soon, TM, where it can create the circuits from scratch.
Okay, cool. I'm curious, have we done any internal prototypes on the circuits from scratch yet that were actually interesting, or is it kind of a like garbled mess at this point?
Yes, we have done internal prototypes that are interesting.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. Next one is from Reduced, REDUCED. Will we ever be able to scale the mirror prop in a way that changes length or height instead of just making the mirror bigger? I guess they're asking for a non-uniform scale for the mirror.
Yeah, sounds like it. So the honest answer is I don't know. That's my honest answer to this one. I will say that is not a priority. I'm going to give the answer that everyone loves when I give, which is like, hey, we'll look at it someday. I'll go back to what I was saying about like right now our goal is to get R2 really, really working. And so I think I would give the same answer as on the glass cubes of like, if we were ever to offer non-uniform scale on mirrors, it would be in R2.
Cool. All right, the next one is Alice in the Palace. Will we ever be able to turn objects made with the Makerpen into OBJ files or other files for use in Unity via Rec Room Studio? There are some things I have made with the fabulous Makerpen that I'd love to upload to Sketchfab, 3D print, other uses, etc. And I believe this was a Cam.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this in a previous AMA, and yeah, well, we would like this to be possible. I don't know what it would take to make it possible, but I think it'd be cool. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Next one is from Pan Knight, because I can never pronounce his actual name. Rukifellth. I know I was told how to pronounce it at some point, and I forgot. Generally speaking, what is in the works for the next RRO, will we soon be able to make our own Rec Room styled quests?
Yeah, so right now, like our focus has been on making a series of smaller scale experiences that are all pushing on. You'll notice a theme in my answer that are all pushing on Rooms 2 really hard. So we've had our internal teams making kind of almost like smaller game jammy games that are very cool, but not of the scale of some of the previous RROs. And I'll go back to what I said. Like our goal is to get R2 over the line, and I don't think we'll prioritize making a large scale RRO until that is true. As for will we soon be able to make our own RR styled quests? I hope so. Like that has been a long standing goal of I think I've said it many times in many different AMAs of like I certainly won't rest until it's possible to make a full traditional RRO style quest using the UGC tools that is at least as good, if not better, in terms of both technical and play quality as the old school quest that we made back in the day.
Sweet. If Pan Knight's here and has a follow-up, feel free to bring him on stage. Next, we have another one from YT Chillwell VR. Is there a possibility you can add a feature that says what the current player count is a room? I always find it annoying when I join a room expecting players to be there, but there's no one there.
Yeah, I think this one, this is probably the AMA where everyone gets mad at Gribbly because I want to talk about another thing that we do that everyone loves, which is A/B tests. Sometimes when we ship features, we do them as experiments, and we'll try a new version of something, and we only ship it to a portion of the user base, and we sort of see how it goes. We see if people like it, if people use it more, if they use it less. Are there any positive impacts, negative impacts, blah blah blah. It's very standard practice for a lot of live service games and apps do this, but I know people get mad at me when I say that we do it. But it's a really powerful tool. For example, for things like this, we did actually A/B test this at one point, and it didn't perform well. I don't remember the details why, but I know we did try it, and it wasn't it wasn't a well performing feature. So I think we scrapped it. So I think the answer is probably no. We won't be doing that.
Okay. Let's see. Number 12 was from Donut Lord. Sort of two questions. When will the next contest be? We already answered that. The second part is, will Creator AI be available for use in contests? I don't know if we have discussed the Creator
Yeah, I would
AI.
prefer to Eden on that one. Like I said, my take on the Maker AI is it's intended to be a tool in the tool chest. And so I can imagine a contest with it. I can imagine a contest without it. I think we've had we have various kind of constraints and rules on contests in the past, and like either not using AI or using AI could be one of them.
Yeah, I would say for at least this upcoming contest, I don't think it's even in a spot yet where it could be used for the rooms
Yeah,
yet.
I think that's
But
true.
it's definitely something we would think about for future contests. So the
Yeah,
answer is not sure yet.
yeah, Maker. Yeah, just for people's context, Maker AI doesn't yet work outside of the dorm room. So right
Yep.
now we couldn't do a contest with it unless it was a dorm contest.
Okay. Question number 13 is from Evertide. Will creators that use Avatar Studio get the ability to make skin-colored items like elf ears that match player skin color? And will we get new skin colors like lighter, darker colors, or even fantasy colors? So for the first part of this question, I got a reply, and the answer was yes. The ability to do skin-matched colors is on the Avatar team's timeline. You should be able at some point to make items that will inherit the skin color of the player. Apparently, we did some recent shader work that laid the groundwork for this, but there's no ETA on when it might ship. And then on the skin colors and like fantasy colors, I think there was just like or additional skin colors and fantasy colors. I think there was no like nothing there yet to really report on. So good news for the first half and no news for the second half of that question. If Evertide's here and has follow up, they're welcome to come on stage. Yet another one next from YT Chillwill VR. Is the plan to make it so players can see what rooms their inventions are used in still? go or no? I remember this was brought up before and still isn't in the game. That's correct. I know we discussed this maybe like 2 or 3 creator AMAs ago, where I think Oddzilla was here and somebody brought up, hey, it'd be great to see what rooms my inventions are in. And I think we brought up the point that this would be easier to do for creators faster on rec.net. I don't think it's on anyone's near-term radar. It looks like Oddzilla replied to this and said, thanks for the request. We are aware of it and are keeping it in mind as we overhaul our 2 inventions, but other foundational items are coming up first. So it sounds like we're still well aware of it. I think there is a Creator Forums post on it. If anyone wants to share that post in the chat, Chill Will, if you want to share that and get more upvotes or comments on it, feel free. But it sounds like we're well aware of it, but there's no ETA for that right now. But we think it's a cool idea to show people what rooms all of their inventions have been used in. All right, number 15 is from Stuffy RR. If weekly challenges are ever going to return, would you consider adding community-based challenges in community rooms? Example, Murder v3, win 10 rounds as an innocent.
Yes. So interesting question. So, I mean, there has been some discussion internally about a way to bring challenges back. I think the context for that is really making it more, I mentioned earlier about kind of talking about like a more ephemeral form of sandbox creation that we're interested in making more possible, where so it's less about, kind of making rooms and publishing them and trying to like have them, that remains super, super important, but like having more people just able to play around with creation. I think if we were to bring back challenges, and this has kind of been something we've been throwing around, is like I think it would be more in the form of encouraging that form of sandboxy creation, like getting people interested in creation. The challenge with community-based challenges, no pun intended, is making them robust enough and making them kind of ungameable. Like, because if you want to have rewards attached to them, and you're giving them out based on UGC rooms that are built by people who aren't us, it can be hard to kind of just keep control of the gameability of those systems and making sure we're not giving out rewards, based on someone who goes in there and changes the rules in there. So I haven't thought about that deeply. But yeah, I don't no plans for community-based challenges, but some discussion of bringing challenges back in a more creation-focused form.
Cool. Yeah, I know you did that that video with, I think it was like Therapeutic maybe a few months ago, where you guys discussed the like challenges thing. So that's a good video to look up for people who have questions about the weekly challenges and what that would look
Yeah, I
like.
think in the Therapeutic video, I think I probably said, no, we're not doing it. And then I think our thinking has evolved a little bit since then. We're like, oh, actually, maybe there's a way that makes sense for where we want to take the app, which does involve kind of like having more kind of like sandboxy creation options available for people who don't want to like save and publish their rooms, but just want to have fun creating in the moment.
Mm-hmm. All right. Last question that had 3 or more upvotes from the forums is from B Bounty. As an upcoming build creator, low effort rooms are taking over well-made maps and overshadowing rooms made with effort. Is there any plan to get rid of these low effort maps or at least promote them less?
Comes up a lot. So we actually posted about this. Nick, our CEO, Nick, talked about this a bunch, and I think we posted that in the creator forums. Do we have a link to that? Yeah, we do. Okay.
Yeah, I just shared it.
So I think that would be a good thing for people to go and read, because we hear this feedback a fair bit, and we kind of go and look at it. I think the thing that really sticks out to me is one thing to be aware of is people use the term cash grab, which kind of makes you think like, man, people are making money on these rooms, and we are incentivized to promote them because we make money from these rooms, and that just isn't true. Like it really isn't true. Like these rooms are not making money. They are not a significant source of revenue for us at all. And monetization is not a major signal in our recommendation algorithms. It is true if we have two rooms that are engaging exactly the same, we'll use monetization as a tiebreaker. But it is not the primary signal we look at. The primary signal we look at is engagement. And so I think there is a lot of eye of the beholder in this, where it's like, look, we see people going and spending serious amount of time playing these rooms, and they may not be to your taste, and they may not be to my taste, but people love them. And ultimately, our goal is to let the community select what the winners are, in terms of like what rooms get popular. And it's less about us, really wanting to force a certain style of room. So yeah, but I would go read Nick's post. He explains it with a lot more nuance and subtlety and than I can. But that's basically how we think about it. Like these rooms don't make a ton of money.
Okay, if B Bounty is out there and has a follow-up question, feel free to raise your hand, B Bounty. That's it. That's the end of the 3 upvotes or more questions from the creator forums. If Eden or Trunks or anyone has seen like a major trend in questions in the chat, I've mostly been managing the doc with the questions. Is there anything that you feel like we should address before we open it up for hand raises and chat questions?
Chat questions is all I've got, Sean. I do have like a various selection, but there's nothing really outside of just general Q&A that needs to be spotlighted at this moment.
Okay.
I do have one quick thing. I'll drop the link here, but if you guys have any rooms that you guys would like to nominate to be featured, please do so. Featured rooms do get rotated every week, and it's a great opportunity to have your room be seen by a lot of people. So please submit your rooms.
Cool. All right. Well, are you sticking around for a little bit, Gribbly?
Yeah, I can stay for another like 10 minutes.
Okay, let's prioritize questions for Gribbly in that case. Go ahead and raise your hands. I will pull people up as I see them. If you have your hand raised, please have a Gribbly question. If it's just kind of generic and it's not something that is directed at Gribbly, go ahead and put your hand down and we'll try to cover some of those once he has to take off. All right, I see ORG. I've invited them up on stage.
Hello.
Hello. Howdy.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not 100% sure if this is directed at you, Gribbly, but I think it's directed, so I'm just going to ask it anyways. So obviously what's happened in the last weeks was a very touching topic for the creative community and everyone at Rec Room as well, with the let-offs and everything. But I just wanted to say, since a lot of people who used to represent the creative community that we used to like see in game and like be able to conversate with aren't here anymore, is there any plans in the future for like a new set of staff that will be around and about that we can like conversate with, like it used to be in like maybe like 2019 Rec Room or 2017 and stuff?
Oh, I see. So, I mean, look, it's always tough as a company when you do something like layoffs. And I just, want to take a moment to say, huge appreciation for all of those people who, were on staff and had many, many contributions to Rec Room. Like that was a tough week for us and tough week for everybody. In terms of like, will there be new people to talk to? So, I mean, we're always just very encouraging about people chatting with players. I can't say that like I'm putting active effort into being like, hey, let's have new people, but like, yeah, I've honestly not thought deeply about that. I think, we're still in process mode. But yeah, look, I mean, we're very encouraging. Like we try and be a very transparent team, like I think, from day one back in the early Reddit days, we've tried to just be like, look, we're ultimately what Rec Room is a group of humans trying to make something cool. And so we're always just encouraging people to engage with people, and Discord, I think, has emerged as a really common place to connect. The creator forums have emerged as a common place to connect. So yeah, I hope there's always plenty of Rec Room devs to chat with. But yes, like you said, it's not always going to be the same ones that it's always been.
Yeah, because I did a little bit of research recently, just looking back on old 2016, 2017, 2018 videos, and that's why I got the idea of the question, because I saw how much you just see all these devs in like Q&A or doing all stuff with the creative community, so that's why I asked it. But thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, let's see. I see Dusty has been invited. Dusty X, if you were there.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello.
Hi. I assume this is a Gribbly question. If it's not, then my bad. But I was genuinely curious. Now that, sadly, Meriesa's gone, miss her tons, but does that mean that they'll be like on a pause or a hold on like creative clubs, like some of them getting accepted or like any updates? What does that mean? That's like put on a pause so you guys can find someone like else to handle that stuff?
Hey,
That's a good question. But yeah, Chase, do you want to talk about that one?
Yeah, so I think the answer is it's not really on pause. Like I think we've still been kind of working through them. I don't think we're going to be working through them as often, but we are. And kind of to the answer I gave earlier, we're definitely kind of taking a wide look at all these programs and trying to figure out and consolidate where we can and clean some stuff up. So we'll probably have some updates on it in the future, but as of right now, it's continuing as is, just maybe like not as updated as often.
All right, sweet. I was just curious. So thanks.
All good.
Sweet. I
Have a
also
good night,
have to
everyone.
point
Bye.
out. See ya. I also have to point out that it's Meriesa. When Meriesa first joined Rec Room, she was very adamant about correcting me because I would mispronounce it all the time. So just wanted to give that shout out. Okay, let's see who. I think Evertide had a question earlier, so I'll bring them up in case they had follow up on that.
This isn't follow up about my app. Or are you able to hear me correctly, actually?
Yep.
Okay. This isn't really follow up on my question, but it's more like talking about the cash grabber thing. There's not really cash grabs. More the major problem currently, I would say, is the rooms that are literally just the most blatant copyright infringement I've ever seen. Literally Marvel in the name, and it has Marvel characters in the game and a bunch of all that stuff, or Disney IP or Star Wars IP, and it's blatant copyright infringement.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's a separate issue, and that is, hey, that's against our creator code of conduct, and we do our best to kind of respond to takedown requests on those. I mean, like one thing to realize here is like there are tens of thousands of rooms being published every week, and so there's no way that any one human can look at them all. And so it takes a while to surface them, and when we've got violating content, we shut it down as soon as we're aware.
I
I
think
think in the top 100, there's like at least like the top 100 for like engagement. I think there's at least 20 copyright infringing rooms. I messaged to Sean for.
Yeah, I spoke to someone on the trust and safety team, and we're going to try to get a post out that clarifies kind of how we do takedowns here, because it's actually somewhat complex legally.
Yes.
There are some things that might look like clear violations that actually we're aware that company has given us permission or the creators have a license or whatever it is. So I'm aware that there's a lot of things that look like they're violating that we might not be taking action on, but the odds are we've investigated it and there's something more complex here that we can't speak to. But I know this is a big concern for people. They're like, hey, how the heck is this stuff up there? Whatever example they want to pick. And normally when I go check on it, there's a reason. So I'm going to try to, as much as we can, clarify, because it also gets legally complex for us to speak to this, is I will try to get a post out with this person, like in partnership with them from Trust and Safety, to clarify to the community like what the updated policy is here, because I know we've kind of gone through different phases of Rec Room policies when it comes to IP. Like the original policy was kind of like, hey, we need a DMCA takedown directly from the content or the right holder. And then that kind of has shifted over time as we've launched on new platforms that were more strict. And I think we haven't clarified what that new policy is. So that's what I'm going to try to do for everyone with that post. And hopefully that'll be in the next week or two, but we'll see.
All right, I've probably got time for one more, and then I'm gonna have to get out of here.
Okie dokie. Let's do. Who am I gonna pick? Let's do Aiden QN.
Oh, am I good?
Hello.
Yeah.
What's up? What's up? So recently, or not too recently, like 2 months ago, there was a question about instances being updated, so it would be different on RecNet and whatever. I just wanted to know if there was any updates for having stats or stuff with instances with Cv2, so we can have like prompts showing all the stats of each instance that is open and whatever.
Oh, this was like the updated instance browser. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Can you refresh us on what that discussion was like? I think this was like, was this like a bear to bear question? And he was asking, I think he
I
was wanting
believe so.
I think he was wanting the ability to look in the instance browser and see how many people were in which rooms and shut them down remotely
Yeah, I
because there
remember.
were issues
Yeah.
where he couldn't get into the rooms to shut them down due to like crashes or hackers or whatever.
Yeah. But my main point was talking about if we could get more circuit chips for instances and stuff like that, if we can get like a list of all the open ones so we can select, like have a prompt open, select which one we want to go to manually.
That's an interesting one. Build your own instance browser with chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me take that one as a feature request for the circuits folks. I can take that back to them. That's an interesting one. Yeah.
Is the use case you're thinking of kind of like as a player enters a lobby, you want them to see all open instances and be able to select them? Is that kind of the use case you're imagining?
I mean, yeah, and also the ability to have like circuit chips with all the instances and being able to get like specific instance stats and whatever.
Okay.
And display them with circuits.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a cool request. We can put that in front of the circuits team.
Aiden,
Perfect.
are you an Aussie?
Yeah.
Represent. I love it. All right, I'm gonna have to run. Thanks everybody. It was lovely chatting with people. And I look forward to the next one. Sean, thanks for organizing.
Sure, no problem.
All right, bye all.
Hi. That's very funny. Everyone in chat is saying bye, Eric, which also happens to be a meme among my friends who they just see me and then they say bye, Eric. So cool. Hi everybody. I just wanted to pop in and say we just shipped a little update for Countdown Club. If you've played that one before, it was a game that we launched about a month ago, I think, or maybe it was later in January. I can't quite remember exactly. But yeah, it's our little hangout room. There's a bomb in the center of the table. You're passing it around. You're trying not to blow up. We just pushed an update to it. You can get titles above your name if you get VIP status. You can get cool custom chairs, cool KO sounds, stuff like that. And then we also did a bunch of stability and balance changes for the game as well. We're pretty excited about what it's looking like, and we're going to be doing some kind of live ops stuff on launch to fix any issues that come up. But yeah, check it out. Just wanted to say.
Cool. And if I'm guessing if we haven't done a post on that yet or an announcement in the Discord, we should have one coming out tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah, I think we'll be getting more signal on that soon enough.
Cool. AMA exclusive.
That's right. Nobody else knows. It's exclusive. But cool.
Well,
That's all.
Yep. Now you've started the meme. No
Yeah.
one's ever gonna forget the bye Eric.
All right, bye Eric.
Rest
bye.
of your life.
All right. See y'all. Have a good day.
So, I was already on the last AMA, I think, with the question about the room saves.
Okay.
If you remember. The thing is, I encountered some bugs with the collision in room Cv2. I worked on a room for a class, for a studio class I work in, the Unity Academy. Trunks might know it because he verifies the hours. And we worked on a room for the hub area for the class, and all the collisions just worked in a kind of different way. The normal collision of the props that were removable with the Makerpen completely not worked on some platforms, and the invisible collisions just turned off and on at random. So I had to fix it with invisible collisions that couldn't be moved with the Makerpen, that didn't have a Makerpen tag.
Okay. Was this a manual save that caused this, or did you say something about auto saves in the beginning?
No, that was the issue before I was pulled on the stage, but that's something entirely different I'm talking about now.
Okay. Trunks, are
Because
you
our
aware of?
process-
Do you have more context around this issue, Trunks?
You said this rooms to rooms Rec Room Studio bug?
Yeah. It's a mixture of both, I think, because it is both a Rec Room Studio room and the Rooms V2 room, but the collisions are bugged, even with the Makerpen collisions, the Makerpen objects, because they're half a meter shifted to the side. And at the beginning, there also was a weird bug with the rendering scale, so I had to adjust everything, I don't know, half a kilometer to the left and up to fix that with the rendering.
Are they all shifted in the same direction, the same amount?
Roughly.
Okay, that's interesting. Can you make like a YouTube video or some images and DM them to me? I can pass them on to the
Of course,
R2 team.
I think I should still have those. Wait a second. I should still have those.
A
If
creator
I'm
forum post would
lucky.
be really good too.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm not good with the forum posts.
Yeah, if
Because
you can't make a forum post, send it directly to me, but a forum post would be better if anyone else is also seeing collider shifting or object shifting issues in R2, definitely make a forum post on it. It makes it easier for us to tell how many people are seeing it and get more kind of like bug reports and details on it.
Yeah, there was supposed to
also,
be an update with that recently where shapes were shifting in a container or the container was becoming an
yep,
abnormal size. So you've been encountering this since that update's happened?
yeah, still it didn't change, so I had to fix it manually with deactivating the collisions and just remaking those all myself. Also, another issue I encountered with lower platforms like the phone and Switch is the Holotars. The 2.0 versions of those have a little, how's it called, spasm when you switch between. I can also send him the video. I have that currently.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you send me both of
But I have
those,
to
we
look
can
at
take a
other
look at
things.
them. Let's keep it to like 2 things. Just send me DMs on all this stuff.
Yeah, I will. Then that's everything I wanted to talk about. But Room Suite 2 is going so far great. The makeup prop shapes are a bit weird, but with Studio it works great.
Okay, sweet. I'm glad to know some part of it's working for you.
At least.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you've got very detailed reports and rooms that we could visit. When you DM me, mention the room names, because I know some of our engineers on the R2 team like to go in on their end and like load up a room in Unity, and they can get more detailed logs on it that way. So
Of course.
mention the room name as well.
Yeah, of course. I will send you all the stuff.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
But you got the first video now, so you should see it then. That was it from my side. I leave time up for the other people, so goodbye.
Cool. Thank you. Hey.
Oh, hi. I was not expecting to be picked. Hi. So, I know I wasn't here for the first half of the AMA, so I wasn't sure if you guys talked about any of the Maker AI stuff. I caught like a little bit of it. But I think I saw clips of the AI stuff being able to make art on canvases and being able to generate art pieces on there. I know a lot of people like using AI to generate things like that they're envisioning, but as artists who use the in-game tools to make art pieces, I noticed we still haven't gotten a lot of updates or like new introductions to things or new additions for those kinds of tools. And I was curious if there was any plans for anything in the future. Like more tools for the creators who use the in-game tools rather than the new AI stuff.
Sure. It sounds like Eden might have something to say on this. I saw you came off mute. Oh, maybe not.
No,
Okay. All right.
not really. I
I don't know
do
if any of
agree
you
with
would
it
know
though.
that.
I would love to see like a color picker, like being able to go back to the old colors you use. I know you can use it with the palette and such, but like on a canvas, being able to select the color on your canvas and use it. Layers,
Yeah,
undo buttons would be
layers
great.
and canvas. Well, we do have canvas filling with the Makerpen. Like you could just color a canvas with that rather than there's a lot of like people have suggest, or a lot of things that people have suggested for the canvases over time, and I feel like it's not getting enough love anymore, and a lot of the artists in Rec Room are kind of dying off. Like I know there's still a lot of strong artists in Rec Room. I know the art contests really help with that and bringing the artists back, but I feel like the tools are very limited right now.
Yeah, I know
Yeah,
you
I would.
made.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I know you made a post with like specific art feature requests you had, right? Can you post that in the text
Yeah.
chat for
Oh
people?
gosh, I posted that on the forum like what was it, a year ago now? How long has it been?
I don't know, but I know that it had a lot of comments and upvotes in it. I've definitely passed that along to different teams. As far as I could tell, no one was actively working on new, like specifically like art canvas tools. I think the reason for that is something Gribbly mentioned earlier, which is like it's kind of all hands on deck to get most of the like stuff moved from R1 to R2 or get R2 stable enough to just focus all of our development efforts there. I think what you're seeing with the art tools and with other creative tools that we haven't updated as much recently is just because we're like, we've got to get R2 stable enough to move all that stuff over and then be able to do that like feature work or updates. Unfortunately, like getting R2 that stable has taken much longer than we thought. So like there's just so much foundational stability work. Like the previous person was saying, like shapes are shifting and colliders are off. Like that stuff all needs to be fixed before someone takes the time to like go update like a brush or an art canvas or something like that.
Yeah.
The good news is I think we are getting much closer now. I think we're probably a number of weeks away from like some of the bigger R2 updates that kind of get that stability over the line. So I would say your best bet is just keep sharing that creator forums post, keep getting upvotes and comments in it, and then once the team has time to kind of look at these, like, okay, we've got the basic stability laid out now, the foundation with R2. Let's think about whatever. Let's go take a look at the creator forums and see what's got a lot of upvotes, and would be like a quick thing to do. And I think the art tools are potentially a pretty good fit for that. So my advice is just keep making noise about it. So you're doing about as good a job as you can.
Yeah, I'll post the forum and the VC chat here for you guys to see.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Nope, Tex-Mex posted. Thank you, Tex. Yeah, honestly, with the new AI stuff, it got a lot of creators worried about like the people who put in the hard work, and I'd love to see some more stuff given to the creators who put, I guess, not the blood, sweat, and tears into their original work rather than using the AI. But I understand using AI as like I guess a kickstand for creation, but it can never compare to like the hard working, like complete, like the creators who put the love and compassion into their works.
Yeah. Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. I think there's from the like video partner videos I've seen where they're doing the generative like on the art canvas stuff, it seems pretty clear to me that it is, generative. Like I don't think it looks that aligned with like something that was hand drawn to me. Maybe it could get there eventually, but for now I think it's pretty obvious you know, what was Maker AI and what was handcrafted. I think it's also a potential, if people are interested, they could make this feature request for like, hey, we want Maker AI canvases to be labeled as Maker AI canvases, or maybe there's some way to click on it and get details about the artist, if it was an in-game artist, or if it was Maker AI, you could see like when it was generated or something. So I feel like there are ways we could make it clear, what came from a player and what came from Maker AI, and I think that would help a decent number of these issues.
A very clear difference, and have maybe like it'll automatically generate like the maker symbol or something on the corner of a canvas that use the AI. So it's like, we know for a fact that this art was AI. Don't claim this as your own, please. It takes away from the people who do the work. It's a lot of. I know there's a lot of different opinions about it, but that's just mine being thrown there. Also, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you've got a limit. Sorry.
Sure. No, I appreciate the thoughts. I think if people have strong feelings about what Maker AI looks like for canvases and drawing tools, I would include that in the post you made. Like I would start comments in that thread about it, or if it's specific to Maker AI and canvases, like you could start a new creator forums thread and just post all your thoughts in there, or feature requests or recommendations. I think that'd be a good place to kind of aggregate all that, because it can. We try to ingest as much of it as we can through Discord, but the forums are just a better place to kind of store all of that stuff long term.
Yeah. I see text posting my forum like a couple times in there, so people see it. All right. I'll let you go then. That was all.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks. See ya.
Hello. Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Yeah, my question was pretty similar to Iiburachi's concern,
Mhm.
But it was more about inventions in general. Like,
Okay.
been playing Rec Room for a while, and most of my subs and tokens I've earned have just been from inventions that I've made with the Makerpen.
Mhm.
And I just kind of noticed that over the years, there's been kind of a lack of investment for invention makers. I don't know if I am speaking on behalf of my fellow invention makers, but I just noticed that Rec Room has focused more on map makers, like with Rec Room Studio and Rooms 2. So I was just wondering if there's like at any point that Rec Room will invest more into invention makers anytime in the future, like with programs. I know you guys discontinued programs in the past, like Ink Tower and cycling featured inventions and whatnot.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like Orca, you had something to say.
Yeah. I mean, we can't say a ton, but the thing I would say is inventions are a very important part of our plan moving forward, and there will be more support around them. Stay tuned. I know we've said soon a lot here today, but yeah, I would just keep your eyes peeled to the horizon.
Yeah, we definitely have a large effort internally specifically around inventions right now. I know we have like sunset or seemingly abandoned some invention focused things in the past. I think we're at a point where we are kind of evaluating all of those creator facing programs. I think what happens is you have like one very eager Rec Room employee who's like, I want to do this thing. And someone's like, hey, if you run the whole thing yourself, you can do that thing. And then we spin up a program like, Invention Tower or whatever it is, and we run it for some amount of time. And then someone's like, I'm too busy. I can't do this anymore. And then we either have to shut it down or do it less often or abandon it. So I think we're at the point where we're going to go back and evaluate all of those programs and see which ones we want to revive, or which ones we don't think we can support anymore, or which ones we have to do less like employee time less often to maintain, or how can we automate more of them, especially if they're showcasing stuff like inventions or creator content. But yeah, I would say good news for you is there's a lot of effort going into Inventions right now, and we're also doing that kind of like look back at all those programs to see what we're going to do with them. So I think it'll be a good time for Inventions going forward.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, what are the what are the obstacles that are stopping creators from updating old Rec Room originals like laser tag and paintball? Like maybe doing a community push for more maps and then integrating those?
Hmm. I mean, as far as I'm aware, the major limiting factor for like just like kind of giving RROs to the community and saying like go crazy with this is a lot of the earlier ones like laser tag and I think paintball are like made with so much kind of like native Unity stuff that I don't even know if like cloning it for players is possible. Maybe somebody
Yeah, I
else
think
has more
Wild West.
perspective.
Wild West is the first one that was like made like with our own tools, and yeah, they're all like Unity creations before that. I think besides that, the limiting factor is just time. There's only so little time and so many priorities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
For several of those older ones, particularly, this is interesting. Something like paintball or laser tag. All of the older RROs have a lot of like very special cased sort of systems running in the background that like aren't present elsewhere or aren't even present in like the Maker Room, let alone Rooms 2. Which makes some of that stuff sometimes hard to do with to like interact with the Makerpen tooling. For something like paintball or laser tag, interesting in that like the notion of building a custom map off the cuff seems plausible. Like, oh yeah, why couldn't we just like make custom geo? It's again one of these things that like some of the architecture of how that stuff is put together, and like how RecNet understands it and how the client understands it. It's just like really, it doesn't really have any good understanding of the UGC systems, kind of at all. Kind of from the ground up.
Is this all to say that we shouldn't expect to see any kind of like blending of, Makerpen or studio creators like going in, making a studio file that it would send to the devs, and there might be developer work integrating those maps, but you would have the model, you would have everything you would need. You would just need to integrate that. Is that just something that like the tech debt involved with those older Rec Room originals is just like off the table?
You mean for something like paintball or laser tag?
Yeah.
I would not anticipate that we do anything like that in anywhere in the sort of near future for for the tech reasons. Like I think there's a lot of stuff with that if you were like, hey, we're gonna do this, I think several of us, myself included, would be like, okay, hold on, how do we actually make that happen? And there's a lot of technical questions. And also just like where our focus is as far as like overall as a company, and as various teams where we're sort of putting effort. And a lot of it is like on many of the newer creation systems and not so much on figuring out how to maintain what are effectively legacy systems for us that drive the games in those old ROs.
I know
I wouldn't think we tackle that.
I know we did an RRO at one point where we put like a community door in it, and it just kind of led to maps. It was kind of its own hot list specific to that RRO. Something like that feels potentially more possible if it's just dropping like a door and a list into a thing. But again, I don't know if there's kind of like dev effort or dev mind share going to that sort of thing right now. But I think, if there's a huge groundswell of creators and a big upvoted creator forums post where everyone's like, we want to make new paintball maps or whatever, I think at that point it could be considered. So my recommendation is always create a creator forums post and get a bunch of upvotes and kind of discuss it in there. And if it is getting a lot of creator interest, then I can take that to the team and see, if there's any possible kind of hack to get that sort of thing going, even if it be very technically difficult to do it at a like very native level.
Gotcha.
Never say never.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right. Okay, we're 12 minutes over, so I'm gonna call it there. Any last minute announcements from anybody up on stage, or reminders or anything?
I am
Eden
seeing.
is actually announcing the contest theme. No, I'm kidding.
No, don't. No, they're all expecting it. I know there's a lot of contest questions, and there's a lot of contest questions I'm seeing in the chat. I am happy to sit in the contest and events channel and answer a few questions, like I said in the text chat, but we do want to keep this contest a surprise for when it does release, so a lot of questions may not be answered because we want to keep it a surprise, but we'll do our best to ease any concerns you guys have or answer what we can. So I'll be in there for a little bit. Just don't be surprised if I don't answer your question because I want it to be a surprise.
Oh, you should put the image you put into the chat earlier into the contest and events thing and pin it so people can find it there.
Yeah, I know a lot of people also missed my announcement because it was at the very, very beginning of the AMA. So I'm also happy to just kind of rewrite what I wrote in the chat for these guys too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will try to hang out in the general chat for maybe like half an hour after we end this, so people who didn't get questions answered, just be hanging out in there, and I'll try to answer any that I have context on for a little bit. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it. And yeah, if you have contest questions or you miss the contest announcement Eden made earlier, go hang out in contest and events. I think Orko also was directing people in there who had comments on one of the earlier questions that we took, and then I will be hanging out in general chat. So thanks to everyone who came out. Thanks for the questions. If you didn't get your question answered, just a reminder to post it in the creator forums next time. I do the @everyone for those forum posts just to make sure everyone sees it. So next time you see me posting like, hey, we're doing the April AMA, get your questions in here. Just definitely recommend putting it in there as soon as possible so it can get the most upvotes and we can make sure to get it answered like we did for the top like 16 or 17 that we got in there. But yeah, that's it. Thanks everyone for coming, and we'll see you in April, and I will see you in the general chat shortly after this.
Yeah, thank you all so much. And I've gotten your questions written down from the chat. We're going to share those internally, and hopefully we can get some answers for you later.
Cool. All right. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. See you guys in the chat.